Okay, this is the real and raw Naomi here. This is my story. I became a Christian when I was 21, and I didn't really want to be married at the time, but I ended up getting a lot of vision for waiting for the one that God had for me, and so I resolved to do that, and it took about 11 years for me to end up getting married, and I ended up getting married, and that was great. And then we had trouble getting pregnant, so I then we got pregnant. That was a miracle. And then we had trouble once we had our son Judah, our first baby, and so that was crazy. And then finally we landed at home. And here I was. I had prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed for this family. And now I had a family, and I had like next to no vision for that family. And so sad. I was so miserable. I felt like I was on the planet Mars. Like I was just like, what happened to me? I mean, I was like this go-getter, change the world for Jesus type person. And all of a sudden, I landed myself in this very small world. And I just didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't have a sense of like my why. I mean, it was like I knew I wanted it, but then once I landed it, I didn't know why. Does this have significance? And I mean, if you think about it, of course, you know that it does, but like it's just in the day to day, it just feels very mundane, and it's uncomfortable. Like it's so slow. And so I started just well, I just felt like God just started showing me some things about home. And He showed me that the home is a micronation, that the home is a miniature version of the bigger nations of this world. And you know how He says in Matthew about go and make disciples of all the nations. And so, like, I was always like out there, I mean, traveling the world and doing this and missions, and had lots of vision for that. And it was like the yes in my heart was big, but like, I just didn't know that the home was a micronation. I didn't know that it has a government, it has an economy, it has a defense system, it has all these systems that can either line up with the kingdom of God or don't line up with the kingdom of God. And I had no idea. I just didn't have any clue. And so I began to just, seek God and think about it and think more about it. And I started to realize like, wow, my home has so much creative power and potential to change the world if I just can embrace it and recognize it and see it and embrace the season with the yes in my heart that I had for Jesus. And so that's kind of where Home Inspired came from. And I wrote a book. There's a series of essays in there just about my transition into motherhood. And so yeah, um, that's kind of where this is all coming from.